While we all wait for the next Crash Bandicoot game, I thought I would revisit M&Ms Shell Shocked. This is a platforming game that came out in 2001 or 2002, and it's very inspired by the Crash series, as you'll see today.
We are going on vacation. One last thing before we arrivederci. Who did you leave in charge of the candy factory? Hello? It's what? They what? And what?
You're turning red.
I did not leave the M&Ms Minis in charge of the candy factory. Ah! Has your chocolate melted? Have you gone completely nuts?
Well, the minis aren't that bad. All they need is a chance.
All you need is a brain donor. Get to the factory, pronto!
Now, one thing I'll give this driving stage is that it's actually controlling a lot better than Smokey and the Bandicoot from Crash the Wrath of Cortex. Like, I'm not actually having any issue with controlling this car and picking up the crates that I want to grab. So I have to give it a bit of credit here. It's not a fantastic level or anything. Not too sure if I can go quicker. Also, what are these drivers doing? I've really got to question the amount of reckless driving that I am witnessing. And yeah, I don't know if I'll show the full cutscene at the beginning, but if you're wondering how this game has any kind of story, they've left or Yellow M&M left the minis in charge of the factory, and they're kind of causing havoc, so now I've got to rush all the way back over there and solve the situation. I can't help but think that Yellow M&M is driving on a one-way road here, because what the fuck are you doing? Don't know what kind of... You know, I'm actually questioning where the oncoming vehicles even came from. But yeah, the levels are kind of like broken up into 3 separate levels. So this is the third and final vehicle level, thankfully. Look, when you're dealing with drivers like this, right, you've just got to... You just gotta do your best to survive. There's not much else you can do. Like, this guy's... You know what I mean? Okay, I'm here, I think. Finally.
Here goes nothing.
Wait, little friend. Maybe it's time to ask who's the best candy for the job. Maybe this calls for the ringer, the top gun, the go-to guy. Nah, you're right. You go.
Wish me luck.
If the red M&M arrived in a helicopter at the same time as me, why didn't I just go with him? So this is where you're really going to start to see the Crash Bandicoot similarities. First of all, you can spin. Just like Crash Bandicoot, your main ability is spin. And obviously you can bounce on crates. It's all very similar, right?
Oops. Uh-oh.
And you don't have the, whoa! You now have the, oops, uh-oh.
Oops. Uh-oh.
These are TNT crates. They look a bit different, but they do the same thing. They just count down. And, okay, that was my fault. But not only do we have TNT crates, as you can see, there's also Nitro crates. They look actually quite similar too. It just says danger instead of Nitro. But same kind of thing. They are an instant... Oh, God. Gave you an example. There's a lot of similarities between this and the Crash games. It just, unfortunately, in my opinion, isn't quite as good as them. It doesn't just stop there, though. That's the thing. That it goes even further.
Oops. Uh-oh.
This is a very long level, by the way. Very long level. And unfortunately, I think I've like 3 more of them. Am I going down here? Yeah. Yes, that's one of them down. I wonder if there's anyone out there that grew up with this and then ended up playing Crash Bandicoot after at some point later on in their life and thought, this is just like M&Ms Shell Shocked. I think it just goes to show how popular the Crash games were. I wasn't there for it, the height of the popularity during the PS1 games, but, you know, when games like this come out a couple years after, they must have been doing something right. Is that another level down? Yes, it is. Now, let's have a look at this level here, because it looks kind of familiar from the preview. So we have a boss fight, and the goal of the boss fight is to lure him onto the platforms that will deal damage. What does this remind you of? Does it remind you of the Tiny Tiger boss fight, where you're pretty much doing the exact same thing, jumping across tiles, trying to make Tiny go onto the dangerous ones? Yeah, that's what I think of when I play this. It's a little different. There's more tiles, but the general idea is just exactly the same. Okay, I won the boss fight, which means I guess I go this way. There we go. Factory map complete.
Whoa! Oh no! It's Big Boss Cam!
Sir, I did a terrible thing. I left the minis in charge of the factory. I'm a big, huge, yellow goofball.
Okay, I thought I was done with the factory map. I'm not. There is a 4th level. I have to say, I'm a big fan of the yellow M&M character. Dude's getting put through some serious bullshit situations here, and he's got to do it all by himself. By the way, I did not even realize that I had the green screen chroma key active. You know, the controls are not terrible. I know I said they're not as good as Crash 1. They're not. Sorry, any of the Crash games. They're not, but they're not completely shit either at the same time. Like, there's no way I would ever choose to play this over a Crash game, but it's not terrible. I remember this level. You cannot touch the floor there, or you die. And I died anyways. I know it looks like it's just a completely safe platform, but
Oops.
no. What are the bad things about this? We're on a conveyor belt, and I'm running against it. And you would think that jumping would speed me up. It does the complete opposite, which doesn't even make sense. Anytime you're on a conveyor belt in a time trial in Crash, you just jump across it. Well, you can do that, I get. Oh my god, that's a nitro crate. Okay. I take what I said back. This level just doesn't control very well at all. Okay, factory map. Is this going to be a boss fight then? So it's an escape level. We are escaping a big, evil robot. I mean, I don't think there's any bosses in Crash that are like this. Obviously, you've got the boulder levels and the polar bear levels. But there's nothing quite like this. Because here we actually have to damage the robot with TNTs. Whereas in Crash, you just have to escape the boulder or the polar bear. Wait, where are we going? This way? That was incredibly easy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be leaving it here. I think we've seen enough of this game. You get the idea, right? It's clearly quite inspired by Crash. Has some original concepts, I'm sure, especially maybe if you make it further into the game. But the point being is that it's very clearly inspired by the Crash games. It doesn't do a terrible job. It's not terrible. Like, it's a playable game. I could play it if this is all I had to play. There is another M&M's game. It's called M&M's Kart Racing. I might replay that and compare it to CTR. Going off of what I remember, I don't think I have a single positive thing to say about that game. So I don't know whether or not I'll revisit that. That being said, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Definitely subscribe if you're new here. And I'll see you all in my next video.